welcome back to my channel. I am so excited for this video. As you can tell from the title, this is gonna be a Throne of Glass first reaction vlog that I'm gonna film probably over like a month or so. A little bit about me if you're new to my channel. I am the biggest fantasy nerd. Lord of the Rings is my favorite series on the planet. Love Harry Potter, like love anything that's not just normal humans, you know? Like I love anything fantasy. And over the past year or so, I found romantasy, if you will, fantasy romance novels. I read ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses series not too long ago and absolutely loved it. My favorite one was A Court of Silver Flames, where my Cassian girlie's at. Because I read that, you guys recommended, like so many of you said that I need to read Throne of Glass. So this is Sarah J. Maas's other series. She also has Crescent City, which don't worry, I will read that as well. And if you guys like this video, let me know and I'll keep doing these kind of like reaction videos. I love reviewing things. I love taste testing, reviewing clothes, reviewing books. If you guys have not read the series, maybe get it and read it along with me as we go. I am going to be including spoilers. I did a poll on my Instagram saying if I should do spoilers or no spoilers, and way more people said I should just include the spoilers, full reaction, full review. I'm starting this video a little bit late because I have actually read these two already and I just like wasn't sure if I wanted to make this video. The first book that I read was The Assassin's Blade. I think there's 5 novellas in here, so they're basically 5 mini stories and they're kind of telling the background story of the main character, which is Selena. I hope I'm saying that right. Sarah J. Maas and her goddamn naming of characters. Selena Sardothian. So this is kind of like her background story. It starts off when she's 16 years old. She is a trained assassin. She's been trained since she was like 8, I believe. Her parents were killed. Firstly, I love this character. I love Selena. I think she is a bad bitch. She knows who she is. I really like Sarah J. Maas's characters for the most part. She's just very good at making you like characters. This book, I was very near to tears at the end. I'm talking as if I can't spoil things, but I can. It's so weird because I'm like, I don't want to spoil it if you haven't read it, but we're doing full reactions here. So the death of Sam. It was very predictable. This book was super predictable to me. It's just very like young adult. There was no spice. I knew he was gonna die. Just from the beginning, you have an inkling. I'm really happy that I read Assassin's Blade first and not like 3rd or 4th, just because you get that background of the character. It's chronological. In Throne of Glass, they mention Sam. She mentions a Robin. She's mentioned things that have happened in Assassin's Blade in Throne of Glass, and I feel like it just makes so much more sense to me knowing the background. I did really like The Assassin's Blade. I think I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads. Throne of Glass. Book number 1. I actually finished this yesterday. I was about 50% of the way through. It was a holiday Monday yesterday and I skipped the gym so I could finish it because I couldn't put it down. That's what I'm really liking about this series so far compared to A Court of Thorns and Roses. The action just starts right away and it really keeps you hooked versus ACOTAR. That first book, man, it is a struggle to get through the first like 3/4 because the last bit of the book is so good, but it was a struggle for me to get into it because it was just so slow, such a slow build, whereas this is just like action, 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 and I really love that. Let's get into the characters. So of course, we're still following Selena. At the beginning of the book, she starts in the salt mine camp that she was left in Assassin's Blade, and then a prince comes to not really rescue her, but it's kind of a rescue, I guess. So he gets her out of the camp so that she can compete in this competition that his father, the king, is hosting. I don't want to explain the full thing because I'm assuming most of you who are watching this video have read the books, but in case you haven't, I'm just trying to explain roughly what happens. The other 2 main characters I'd say are Dorian. So Dorian is the prince, and then okay, this name, how would you guys pronounce this? Is it A-O-L? Yes, C-H-A-O-L. I'm assuming it's Cole. I've been saying Cole in my head. Like it makes no sense. In this book, she has a character named Sam, and then she has this Chowell. Like, what? He is the captain of the guard, and he's been training Celaena very closely ever since the prince went and grabbed her from the salt mines. And I'm getting a romance energy. So this book has zero spice as well. And I thought I'd be upset about that, but I'm not. I'm fine with it because there's just so much action and it's so intense. And the story just like moves along so well that I'm not mad that there's no spice. There is love interest and connections, which I really like. There's like sexual tension, which I really like. That's like my favorite thing in books is when there's sexual tension. And you do get a couple different point of view. Dorian and Celaena, look, I love Dorian. I do like him, but I think I'm a Cole girl. Like I don't know. My predictions here are that Cole and Celaena are gonna end up together at some point in some way. Dorian and Celaena were hooking up for a bit, and I think that's kind of all it's gonna be, is them just kind of like hooking up. I think, well, we know Dorian is in love with Celaena, and I think there's just gonna be some tension between those three characters moving on into the next book. I started Crown of Midnight yesterday. Also, I love these covers. They're kind of creepy. Like the artwork kind of creeps me out big time. Like if I look too closely, I get really creeped out. But I honestly like these books more than the new soft covers. So we basically found out that she's been working for the king and not actually killing the people that she said she was gonna be killing. And I'm really scared for her because I do think the king is gonna eventually find out. I do think magic and fae are gonna come back. Right now, there's not really any magic. We've just kind of learned about the word marks and the word symbols or whatever. And I do think magic is gonna fully come back. I don't know to what capacity or when. I think the fae are gonna come back. I don't know if Celaena's gonna end up being part fae or a relative of Elena or Elena. I don't know how you guys are saying it. I will check in with you guys. I don't know when I'm gonna check in next.
We're not gonna make it. I don't feel the same as you. Why should I fake it? I don't love you like I used to. Oh, it's a tragic story, but it happens all the time.
What the hell? I'm pissed. So I'm about halfway. It's good. I like the book so far. It's a little bit slow so far, I would say. We got to the part where Cole and Celaena finally realized their feelings for each other, and she literally lost her virginity to him. And there was no description of it. I was waiting for a classic Sarah J. Maas sex scene. Also, I feel like it was very abrupt. Like there was so much buildup of Cole and Celaena. Suddenly it was his birthday, and then she threw this whole dinner thing for them, and it was very much like a date. And then suddenly they were like, yeah, I like you, like to each other basically. It just kind of happened out of the blue. Like there was so much good buildup, and I was loving the like tension building between them. And I love how we can see Cole's perspective, because I love seeing into the boys' brains, like seeing what the boys are thinking when the girl's driving them crazy. I love that, but I'm thoroughly disappointed. And then they just went into a broom closet to hook up. Did we get a description of that? No, not a damn word. So I'm pissed. There are no Cassian and Nesta, I'll tell you that. Now that's just being very picky. I do still really like the story, and I know all the characters are gonna change, at least that's what I'm guessing, because of, what's her name? Aelin Galathynius. But I've seen on TikTok Aelin be mentioned before, so I think she's gonna become more of a main character. I don't know if her and Dorian are gonna have a thing, or if Nehemia and Dorian, is that how you say it? Nehemia? Oh my God. Guess what I just finished this morning? For the past 2 weekends in a row, I have skipped the gym because I'm so into the Throne of Glass series that I physically can't put it down. Man, you guys were probably laughing at me when I mentioned Aelin Galathynius in my last couple clips. I didn't realize that Celaena and Aelin were the same person. It all makes so much sense now because everyone on TikTok, everyone only talks about Aelin, and I thought it was really weird that I'm like, why does no one talk about Celaena at all, ever. Like, no one mentions Selena. I'm like, hello, I thought these books were about her. And then I thought Aelin would come in there at some point, but she is Aelin. But obviously I wouldn't have been able to predict that, because how would I know that she's Fae? Oh, Cole, my heart is broken for him. I love Cole so much, and I wish they could be together. I want them to be together. I was so upset when she was so mad at him that she almost killed him. Like, girl, I don't think she should have been that angry. Like, I get Nehemia had just died. Oh my God, it's so twisty. I'm so excited. So I really wanted to finish this book specifically this weekend, because tomorrow I leave for Texas. I will update you guys when I'm there, because I'm going to be bringing the next book, which is Heir of Fire, I believe, which now makes so much sense. Heir of Fire. She mentioned her powers have always had to do with fire or whatever. So this whole, oh my God, I almost want to go back and reread the whole thing and try to pick up on things that she kind of let slip, because she's always hinted that there's something about her past that we don't know. So Robin, he must know who she is, who she actually is. So I don't think we're done with Robin just yet. I hope we get to see Cole again. I don't know if she ends up having another love interest. I have no idea. I've been avoiding all the spoilers as much as possible. After I finished this, I immediately had to go for a run. This is the second 5K I've ever done. It was honestly really easy, and it started raining, and I'm not even kidding, it actually like was the best thing ever. It healed me. I don't even know how to explain it, but running in the rain with no headphones when it's warm outside, that was a magical experience. So I'll see you guys when I pick up Heir of Fire. Good morning. I am in Texas right now with Alphalete. I'm actually filming another vlog, which you guys probably would have already seen about this whole trip, but I needed to check in. I'm about less than a quarter of the way through, which is kind of crazy, because I read for the entire plane ride here, which was like 2.5 hours, and that's as far as I got. I'm on page 138. Why did it take me 2.5 hours to read 138 pages? This book, I like that we're getting a lot of different points of view. We were introduced to Manon, who's the Iron Teeth witch, and she seems like a baddie, which is great. Kind of scary. I'm kind of scared of her, and I wish she had black hair. Okay? Why does every bitch in a fantasy book have blonde, gorgeous, golden hair or white hair? Where's the girlies with the black, dark hair and dark features? Like, Manon would have been the perfect character, because she seems kind of like evil and scary to have like long, flowing black hair and like cat eyes, you know? Missed opportunity. She's not giving evil when she has white blonde hair. I just woke up and I'm gonna read for a little bit as I chug my water. You know, I have to drink my water before I go downstairs and get my coffee. We've also been introduced to Sorsha, and Dorian's like starting to have a crush on her, but she's like been in love with him for 6 years, and she kind of gives me weird vibes. I'm not really a fan. Don't love her. I'm still pissed that Cole and Selena aren't together. When I started this book, I was picturing Selena starting to call herself Aelin for some reason, but I get now that she doesn't want to be Aelin, because I was like high the other night and I was thinking about the previous book before this one, before I started this, and I was like, wait, does Selena even know that she's Aelin? And then like I couldn't fall asleep because I was like going down this rabbit hole in my brain of like, maybe she doesn't even know she's Aelin, because if she was found when she was 8 years old, maybe she like doesn't remember her past because of her trauma, but she knows she's Aelin. So I don't know where I was going with that theory in my head. I like this book so far. I think it's a little bit slower. I think it's gonna ramp up, especially when we start to see the Iron Witch clans mingle with the rest of the characters. Like if Selena and Manon meet, that's gonna be crazy. I'm liking that there's Fae. There's finally Fae. I'm so excited. Finally there's gonna be some magic and shit. This is what I live for. Honestly, kind of confuses me that Selena's Fae, because they're like, yeah, we can shift, some Fae can shift into animals, and then she randomly can shift into being a human. Like, come on. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if there's a different way Sarah J. Maas could have explained that, but I don't love that. I'm kind of like, what? She can just like turn into a human? Like, that's convenient. I don't know if I F with that majorly, and I don't know why she wouldn't want to shift, and it seems like she has firepower. Oh.
Selena Sardothian, Aelin Ashriver Galathinius, Dorian Haviljard, Kaol Westfall,
Kaol. Kaol.
Haviljard, Kaol Westfall,
Kaol.
Sam Courtland, Nehemia Yithger, Adian Ashriver, Manon Blackbeak,
Manon. Kaol. Manon.
Astrid Blackbeak, Nesrin Philique, Ilid Lot,
Wait, I don't know these characters. I don't know these guys. I don't think I've gotten far enough.
Kaol West,
Kaol's got me messed up. Honestly, I get it. I see it. Kaol. Kaol. See, now I don't really like Cole. Now I feel like Kaol makes more sense. Kaol. Not kale. Kaol. Kaol. I actually like it. It's kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Manon,
Manon is how I've been saying her name. Manon. Manon? Anyways, this is just a video I found on TikTok of Sarah J. Maas pronouncing the character names. The last time you saw me, I think I was in Texas and I was reading this guy. I did finish it. I just started Queen of Shadows not that long ago. As you can tell, I've barely read any of it. It's literally been a couple days of Queen of Shadows. So let's go back to this one. I made notes on what I wanted to talk about. So far, my least favorite book in the series. I'm not gonna lie, it's so far my favorite cover, least favorite book. I gave it 3.5 stars. I found it relatively slow. There was no romance. It was very character building. It was very necessary to introduce new characters like Manon, and that whole situation with the Iron Teeth. What else did I write? Okay, Rowan and Selena / Aelin. What are they? I thought they were cousins, but then she was talking about being like kind of sexually attracted to him, and I was like, wait a minute. What is their relation? I feel like I need to look at a family tree. This book kind of confused me a little bit with all the heritage of everyone, and like Adion came into play, and then this Rowan guy, and Maeve is like her aunt. So isn't Rowan her cousin? I don't know if anything's gonna actually happen between them. I like the bond that they have. They're like besties, and now he's, what is it? Not committed to her. You guys know what I'm talking about. Okay, and then the other storyline of Kaol, Dorian, and then we meet the character Sorsha. I first said I didn't like her. I was like, she gives me a weird vibe. And as I kept reading, I knew right away, I was like, this girl's gonna die. Because they're not making you love her, they're more making you love the connection that Dorian has with her. This sounds bad. You're not gonna like miss her when she's gone kind of thing. You're gonna feel bad for Dorian because you know how much he likes her. I just knew she was gonna die, and I knew that that would be the thing that got Dorian to show his magic in front of his father. I didn't know how it was gonna happen, but I was right, because at the end of that book that happens. Kaol, I'm confused at him. I don't know, I think he's just like scared of the king, and he's so like true. He wants to stay a guard for the king, even though he's kind of like going behind the king's back. I don't know, it was a whole weird situation, that whole thing. Like Adion even took the fall for Dorian and Kaol. I don't know, this book, not my fave. The only thing I'm gonna say about Queen of Shadows so far, because I did just start it, is I really like how there's no more Selena. She just goes by Aelin now, because it was in the last book, she was Selena and Aelin at the same time, but I like how now she's like, F it, I am now Aelin. She just met up with a Robin, and then she met up with Kaol, and it looks like they're not gonna rekindle, which I'm kind of sad about, but then again, I kind of really like Rowan, but also is that her cousin? I don't know how to feel. That's a cool ass sword. Kaol, I'm not liking how he's hating on how powerful Selena is. Or Aelin now? I don't know, I'm confused because he's still calling her Selena in his head. But she's now Aelin, and it sounds like Kaol, he loved Selena, but he does not F with Aelin, and that's kind of lame of him. Okay, when an author says, clicked her tongue, what do you guys imagine? Like that kind of thing?
Is that what it is? What is a clicking of a tongue? No, has to be like a kind of sound, right? I love the word padded. Like she padded into her bedroom. Manon, I don't know what my prediction is for her. She's gonna fall for somebody. I don't know if it's gonna be a human or one of the fae or something. I don't know, but there's some way that she's gonna tie in, and I feel like she's gonna end up being good. Like even though she's wing leader for the King of Adarlan, I think she's gonna end up being good somehow, or like being on the right side of things, you know?
I have not updated the book vlog in a very long time. I really enjoyed Queen of Shadows. I rated this 4 stars, I think, and I probably would rate it even a little bit higher, like 4.5. Let me just go to the end of this so I can recall what was going on in the end. Right, we've met Lorcan now. Rowan and Aelin are kind of, they're not official, but they're kind of official. They haven't done anything spicy yet. There is no spice in any of these books so far. The story for me makes up for it. I really like Aelin. I think she's a really good female main character. Oh, they killed the king? Right. There was a lot of intense scenes in this one. I don't want to just sit there and ramble about that book because my brain is already in these books. When I say these, I do mean both of them because I'm reading them at the same time. So this is my first tandem read and I love it. I'm finding it so fun. Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn are happening at the same time. So you can read them at the same time if you want to stay on the same timeline, I guess. I am very, very happy that I decided to do the tandem read and read them at the same time because Aelin is not even in this book. I think I would be very bored with Tower of Dawn if I didn't get breaks every couple chapters that have to do with like Rowan, Aelin, Dorian, everyone who's on the northern continent still. Hold on, reversing to Queen of Shadows and the fight scene at the end when Dorian kills his father. Oh my God, and we find out that his father was enslaved by a demon this whole time and he still killed him? I don't know, do we believe him? Is that true? Was he actually enslaved for years by a demon? I don't know. And then Parrington is suddenly Erewhon? Like he's a big bad guy this whole time? We thought he was a second in command? I like that spin. I really appreciate Sarah J. Maas's world building. I just don't understand how you can come up with entire universes and creatures and languages and maps and locations. Like it's so impressive to me.
Took me by surprise. I did not see it coming. At the place where we arrived, the darkness fled from something.
When you're doing the tandem read, because it's not even an option, you have to do the tandem read. Both of them would be really slow if I wasn't doing the tandem read. Honestly, they're both kind of slow as is. Like I'm not loving them, I'm not gonna lie. There's just so much happening and it's happening really slowly. Like we know it's leading up to the battle against Erewhon, and right now it seems like there's no way for them to win. I don't know why she even wrote Tower of Dawn. Like I get that we're building up Irene and Kael's relationship. I'm assuming Irene's gonna play even a bigger role in the next book, I'm assuming. Honestly, okay. I was thinking about this last night when I couldn't sleep. I cannot wait for the part in the book when all the characters are finally in the same place. These books right now feel like the Two Towers in Lord of the Rings. When all the characters are spread out, we're following each of their own separate stories, and then they meet in Return of the King. That's what the next book's gonna be, and I can't wait. Like, I'm very excited for that. Like, I can't wait for like Eli to meet up with everybody, and then for Irene and Aelin to meet, and her to be like, wait, you're Selena. Wait, you helped me, and then I came around and saved Kael. Like, it's a very tangled web. I'm also loving Aedion and Lysandra together so far. I mean, nothing's happened, but I like their little flirtation. These books could have been so perfect if there was more spicy scenes. Right now, it's definitely dragging a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. These are big, thick books, and it's just taking a long time to get where it needs to go. I am happy, however, that in Tower of Dawn, Nesrin is getting more of a story because I do really like her character, and I like her in Sartek. Okay, the name, Borte. How in the hell do you guys say that? Bort? This girl's name is Bort? Bort. Like, I want to say Borte, but there's no, like, French accent over the E, so it's not Borte. Bort? Hey guys, long time no talk. Listen, for you guys, it's been a couple seconds. For me, it's been a few weeks. So, don't worry, I've been taking notes. I have a lot to discuss right now. Let's discuss where we last left off on these books. So I have finished them. I don't remember what I talked about last, but in my notes, I wrote that Aelin is bothering me. I do recall this from Empire of Storms. She was bothering me. She was just very like arrogant, and her temper was really annoying. Like she would just, I don't know. I'm not an angry person. I don't really get angry. So when people have tempers, I'm like, and I was realizing, which I actually still think I feel this way, that Selena more than I like Aelin. Listen, I know they're the same person, but they're also not the same person. Selena is different than Aelin. I just personally kind of liked Selena better. I don't know why. I think just, even though she was so like arrogant as an assassin, it like suited her. I don't know. I'm just telling you how I feel. Okay, so for Empire of Storms, I was finding it was really dragging on. It was super slow. There was no spicy scenes at all. The scene with Rowan and Aelin on the beach, the first time they're doing the deed, it was just a little PG. And I know Sarah J. Maas has more spice in her. And I realized, I think she did write these ones when she was a lot younger. She wrote them before ACOTAR from my understanding. But that scene could have just hit so much deeper. Like it just didn't hit for me. It wasn't descriptive enough. I was just like, okay. I wasn't turned on, you know? When I was reading A Court of Silver Flames, I was like, like sweating. This, I felt nothing. My favorite characters actually in Empire of Storms were Manon and Dorian, and I kind of still stand by that. I low-key am a Manon fan. I didn't think Dorian was going to continue playing such a big part. Just from the first books on, I thought he was going to be like a character that kind of like faded to the back, but he didn't. He is like a main freaking character. I love him. I know he is very troubled, and a lot of his sassiness comes from trauma with the collar and everything, and he's just a very angry person, but he's spicy. Like, and him and Manon are just, it makes sense. I'm a big fan of them. I really like their chemistry, their sexual tension. Again, could have been a lot more spicy scenes between them. SJM will always hint at a spicy scene or like lead into a spicy scene, and then the chapter ends, and I'm left unsatisfied. Then, the next little note I wrote for myself, the end of the tandem read was so intense and sad. It was crazy. Listen, Tower of Dawn, not my favorite. Didn't enjoy it, and personally, overall for the tandem, this could have been one goddamn book. I will never forgive Sarah J. Maas for making me read this many pages about all these characters when this should have been combined into one book, in my humble opinion. There was way too much detail with Kaol and Irene to the point where I don't care about them anymore. They kind of annoy me. Like they're just... Same with like Nesrin and Sartek. Like I get that their bond is great, but we spent so much time building it up, and they're barely in Kingdom of Ash so far. I almost feel like she wrote all of these books just to get to this one. This is the story. This is the buildup of what we've been waiting for since you start Throne of Glass. Where did it even end? Did it end on the beach with Aelin? Was that the last thing where she went into the... Yes, because the last line is Prince Rowan Whitethorn Galathinius, consort of the Queen of Terrasen, began the hunt to find his wife. Love that they're husband and wife now. That's really cute. But that was crazy. The end of Empire of Storms, honestly, I actually really enjoyed that. Sarah J. Maas tends to do that. It'll be like kind of like a slow burn build up the entire book, and then the last 100 pages are like mind-boggling and you can't put the book down. Okay, my next update is when I was about 100 pages in to Kingdom of Ash, the literal biggest, thickest book I have ever seen in my entire life. I'm kind of far in it right now. This weekend, my boyfriend was sick, so it was kind of awesome. Like, oh no, sorry that you're sick, but kind of awesome because he didn't want to do anything, and it was the best. I literally read the entire weekend, and I'm like, why can't every weekend be like this? Why do people always want to do things? I don't want to do things. I just want to sit around and read. The first thing that I wrote about this book, there was a lot of characters and a lot of different POVs. I love a different POV. I love getting different viewpoints from different characters. However, when there's 25 main characters and they all have a different POV, I struggle a little bit to remain eager to continue reading in the story because I forget where the hell we left the past characters off of. So let's say I've been reading about like Manon and Dorian for the past 3 chapters. Then suddenly I go back and I'm reading about Aelin and Rowan, but I'm like, wait, where in the hell did we last leave these characters? I have to sit there and think, and I don't like when I have to just try to figure out what's going on again, and I was feeling that a lot at the beginning of Kingdom of Ash. I also made some notes about, oh my god, Aelin. After me trash talking her in Empire of Storms and saying I prefer Selena over Aelin, I felt really, really bad and really guilty reading this because holy hell, the torture scenes? I don't know why I'm smiling. I'm smiling because I'm impressed with Sarah J. Maas's writing and like stomach to be able to think of and create torture scenes, and they actually like made me nauseous, and I was like, oh my, I feel so bad for this girl being locked up and literally tortured and put through so much pain. Like it was crazy. It was very intense, and I don't want to say enjoyed it because that sounds kind of crazy, but I enjoyed the intensity of it, and I enjoyed the bond between Fenris and Aelin. For some reason, I can't picture Fenris in my head. I felt the same way about Feyre reading ACOTAR. Like, she has no face in my brain. I don't know what Feyre looks like. And I feel the same way about Fenris. They keep saying he has like blonde flowing hair, and then in my brain, I'm like, no, he doesn't. He has like brown hair. I can't picture him. What do you guys see? I wrote that I was feeling super bad for Rowan. Poor man searching for his woman, his wife. I think that was really well written, his like pain. I wrote that I'm loving Manon and Dorian still. I also wrote that there were so many opportunities for spicy scenes with all of these characters who have such good connections and bonds. Like, I'm rooting for these characters. I love them together. We have so much backstory in all these characters. The spicy scenes would hit so hard. For example, Manon and Dorian in the goddamn tent. The way I was begging Sarah J. Maas to have written a spicy scene into that section, I sound freaking desperate. Lorcan, listen, I have a soft spot for Lorcan. I just love that he is a cold-hearted guy, and he only has a little soft spot for Eli. It's very cute. I very much enjoy them together. I also think some more jealousy would have been great with Gavriel, because there was a hint at some jealousy with like Lorcan was jealous that Gavriel and Eli were friendly with each other. I would have loved a little bit more jealousy. I love a jealousy trope. Oh, the other main couple is Aedion and Lysandra. When he raged at her, I was kind of uncomfortable. He was ruthless. My heart literally broke for her. It was kind of unforgivable, the things he was saying to her. But now, in this point in the book, I just got to the point where he said, I love you, kind of, to her. Oh my gosh. There's some scenes that just like live in my brain still, and I don't know if it's because they're fresh from reading this book, but the scene with Eli riding out on the horse to go find Lorcan, I think it's just gonna live permanently in my brain. I also can't picture Eli. That is another person in here who like just has no face. I have no idea what Eli looks like. I can't picture her. I just know she's like very petite.
That's all I can see. We are finally caught up to the notes that I was taking literally like today and yesterday. Just some rambling thoughts that I was having, but I wrote that a character needs to die. Listen, I love them all. I love all the characters. There's not one of them that I'm like, this person can be killed off. You know, I don't feel like that about any of the characters. But what I'm saying is there's an opportunity here to create so much emotion around a character dying, and no main characters have died. The closest we've gotten is Sorsha, but she wasn't even a main character. Like, no main characters have died. It's kind of, it almost like takes away from the believability. Like, there's so many wars. This entire book is a war book. Like, boys who make fun of girls who read fantasy romance, I probably read more about war than you do. Okay, I know how to command an army at this point. Like, I don't know how Sarah J. Maas knows, but she knows. And no characters die. I know I'm speaking too soon because I'm like 60% done Kingdom of Ash, and there's still a lot of time for some of the main characters to die, but none of them have died yet, and I just find it rather suspicious. Like, it just kind of takes away from the story because it makes it less believable. I don't know if that makes sense. People are probably like, why do you want someone to die? Like in Harry Potter, main characters that we love die, and it is literally like unforgivable to the author, but it adds so much emotion and shapes the other characters so much. And I think these books are missing that. Do you think this would be a favorite series of mine if A, you guys already know what I'm about to say, there was more spice? Gabby's obsessed with spice. No, but seriously, if there was a little bit more spice, not even a little bit, if there's a lot more spice, if you just put some of that spice in there and take out some of all the filler stuff, I just feel like there's a lot of situations that are dragged out for too long, or there's almost too much description. Like, it's too long. It's too long. Then again, at the same time, I'm contradicting myself here because I do love the amount of detail. Sarah J. Maas created an entire universe. If this was made into a movie like Lord of the Rings, give Sarah J. Maas the budget that you gave Peter Jackson. You know what? Give Peter Jackson the rights to Throne of Glass. Can you imagine if Peter Jackson had the rights to Throne of Glass? Oh, I need to start a petition because that seriously needs to happen. He needs to create like Lord of the Rings style movies for Throne of Glass. I was getting Battle of Helm's Deep a couple times when I was reading this. I was like, oh my gosh, they have like the ladders that are like coming down so they can get in. It was giving Helm's Deep. Now that we've caught up a little bit and you've heard my overall thoughts about how I've been feeling about the entire series, let's talk about where I am right now in the book. I'm at the part, oh my god, I'm gonna get chills even looking at this, but Dorian just got the last word key from Morath. And I have some questions. Dorian must be part Valg, no? And did I miss something? Did we already discover that? He has to be part Valg. He's literally like the most powerful character in this. I'd say even more powerful than Aelin. He can do whatever he wants. He can literally do anything. He can shapeshift. He can turn into a gnat, like friggin' this, but he can control fire, ice, wind. He can do everything. He's very, very powerful. And his father had a Valg prince in him when he mated with his mother to create Dorian. So in my brain, Dorian's part Valg. And that is the only possible explanation for how he was able to get the word key. Like, he was able to control Maeve, like get into Maeve's brain. It was just a little bit unbelievable, honestly. I was reading that part and I was like, Maeve is like thousands of years old and she's a Valg queen, and Dorian, this young king who's new to having powers, he's had magic for less than a year. Less than a year this man has had magic and he was able to trick her? I don't know. That seems like a plot hole to me. That just doesn't seem believable to me. What do you guys think about that? Because I was a little bit annoyed. I was like, okay, come on. Maeve would probably outplay him. Like, let's be real. If she's this all-powerful Val queen, I feel like she would outplay him, outthink him, no? So I just got to that part, and then what happens right after that, I was kicking my legs and screaming. Kicking my legs and screaming at the end of this chapter. What chapter is this? Chapter 81 is the chapter that I just finished, and I was screaming when Manon arrived. It was seeming all doom and gloom. Aedion just admitted to Lysandra that he's always loved her, which also, fuck you, because you were a complete ass to her recently. He's literally been a complete asshole to her. And now suddenly he's just like, I love you. Don't get me wrong, I love them together, but he could have been nicer the past couple months. I get he was stressed with the battle, but still, have some respect. Oh my god. I have chills even looking at this again. Oh my god, I love Manon. Long ago, the crochet. Oh my god. I can't even say it without smiling. I love this. Long ago, the Crochetans fought beside Terrasen. For centuries, we were your closest allies and friends. The crown of stars blazed bright upon her head. We heard your call for aid. Lysandra began weeping, and we have come to answer it. Manon is a bad bitch. Like, oh my god, I love her so much. And then the last sentence, the Crochetans had returned at last. That's where I am in the book right now, and it isn't worth it to get to this book, because this book is, she's juicy. I have made a terrible, terrible mistake. I take it all back. I take it all back. I take back everything I said. I'm actually sweating. I'm gonna be triggered. Editing the last clip that I took when I was like, how come none of the characters have died? This isn't realistic. Boy, oh boy, did I eat my words, because last night was traumatizing. The 13. The 13! I'm actually gonna be sick. I'm now on chapter 90. And everyone knows what happened at the end of chapter 89, right? The 13 absolutely sacrificed themselves to save everyone. My hair is so greasy today. It's so dirty. I don't want to talk about it. I'm in mourning, okay? Let's rewind to chapter 87, which I was also reading last night. It was the scene with Lorcan and Elide in their tent. The way so Lorcan did. You guys know what I'm talking about if you've read this. I was not thrilled. I was not thrilled. This could have kept going. I love the descriptive words like growled, he ground out, like he's just like growling. Is there anything better than a growling man? I don't think so. When their eyes like darken with desire, when they're trembling, when the men are trembling with restraint. These pages used a lot of my favorite terminology. Lorcan trembled with restraint. Purr, when men purr for you, excuse me. Especially Lorcan. This was a great page, very descriptive. I loved it. See, where it ended with so Lorcan did. Okay, sure, that's great, but in the next chapter, why couldn't there be a little description of what he showed her? We all know how I feel about that. Where's the next part that... a lot happened last night. I was not well. I couldn't even sleep last night after reading. So Abraxos gets attacked. It's terrible. I hate it. I was nauseous. The way I thought Abraxos was gonna die. I thought one of the 13 would probably end up dying. I was like, there's no way the entire 13's gonna live. I thought it's probably gonna be Astrid. She's probably gonna sacrifice herself for Manon. I didn't expect them all to sacrifice themselves. This is so sad. The 13 was her family. It was literally her entire family, and they sacrificed themselves for her and for everyone else. Aww. Kaol and Dorian seeing each other for the first time in so long. Remember when I was Team Kale? I'm Team Dorian now. How are they going to deal with these word keys? I can't see Dorian or Aelin actually dying. Please, no.
Oh my god. Is Irene gonna die? If she tries to destroy Erewhon, that would mean Kale would die too. At dawn, the lock will be forged and the keys go back into the gate. No. No, absolutely not. This isn't happening. Guys, I'm on page 800. My brain is desperately trying to grasp what is going on because a lot is happening with the gates being sealed and the gods going back to their own world and then Aelin cracking a hole in the sky, and there is a lot happening. Is there a nod to Valeris from ACOTAR in this? Because she's falling through all these different worlds, and then it says she passed through a world of snow-capped mountains under shining stars, passed over one of those mountains where a winged male stood beside a heavily pregnant female gazing at those very stars. They were fae, but this was not her world. Tell me that's not Rise and Feyre? I know you guys probably already know this. I'm so late to the party, but I swear that that's Rise and Feyre now. So Dorian's been saved. I guess Aelin is now gonna be saved too. Dorian's father randomly showed up. I was kind of like, what? But it does kind of make sense. And then Mala gave her some of her power. I'm assuming that she's gonna get back to Rowan because he put like word marks all on her body and that's how she's finding her way back. It's kind of like far-fetched a little bit, but also it's fantasy, so anything can happen. The winged male, beautiful beyond reason, snapped his head toward her as she arced across his starry sky. He lifted a hand as if in greeting. A blast of dark power, like a gentle summer night, slammed into her. Not to attack, but to slow her down. Rise? Oh my god, Rysand saved Aelin? Not to attack, but to slow her down. A wall, a shield that she tore and plunged through, but it slowed her. That winged male's power slowed her just enough. Aelin vanished from his world without a whisper. Rysand. Wait, that's crazy. I need to look this up. She lost her power. Kind of thought that was gonna happen.
Guys, I am currently, according to Goodreads, 97% done Kingdom of Ash. I've kind of been pushing out finishing it, because now that I'm nearing the end of the series, I don't want it to be over, and B, I wanted to record myself reading the end of it because reading up to this, like the past few chapters, I cried so many times. It's actually holiday Monday, Thanksgiving in Canada, so my boyfriend is downstairs working out, and I of course was like, absolutely not, I'm reading. Let's do it, let's finish this series together. Aelin walking down to her throne. Oh my god. Of course. The blood oath with Avion. I was waiting for this moment. A new world, a better world. We're a long way from Inish, Irene whispered. Aelin, Kaol, and Dorian saying bye. The original three. Gabrielle, Rowan is now giving Aedion the tattoo of Gabrielle's name. That is something that really destroys my heart, is Gabrielle dying and not getting to know Aedion, and Aedion not letting him know that he like cared about him. That will hurt forever. Okay, I think I'm technically done, but now I'm on the A Better World chapter. I don't know if this is like a epilogue or something, but the King's Flame blooming. I'm done. I'm done. No. Listen. Let me collect my... I didn't expect to cry as much as I did. I think just because it's been such a long journey and I'm so attached to the characters, the part that really got me is when Aelin started chanting, Irene, Irene, Irene. Like, even thinking about that, that was such a powerful moment. They have just come so far. Basically from that moment on, I just kept crying at everything. Everything was being wrapped up. Aelin walked through the gates of Orinth finally. The entire series has literally led up to that moment. When Falcon met Lysandra, when Darrow said, "Welcome your majesty" to Aelin, Manon saying, "all." I literally was recording the times I was crying and then I stopped because I was like, I just keep crying at everything. This was probably one of my favorite from Throne of Glass as a whole. Like, you know, when you're getting this type of emotion from me that I do really love a book and I really care about it. Let's put the dust cover back on. That series is very daunting and very intense and very long, but it is really good and it's just so well written and it's so impressive that Sarah J. Maas can create such a world like that. And I get it. I get why this series is so long, because you feel so much more emotionally attached to the characters when there's so much detail. I do still think the story of Nezrin and Sartek could have been shortened. The whole Tower of Dawn, Empire of Storms, that could have been combined, I think, into one book. What are your guys' thoughts on this series, the Throne of Glass series? I'm happy that I read it. I'm glad I read it, but I'm also kind of glad it's over, even though I cried so much when it was ending because I'm gonna miss these characters a lot and I will be thinking about them constantly. I am kind of glad that it's over because now I can read some other books, because I was feeling a little bit trapped in this world, you know? Like, there's just, it's been a lot of weeks. I don't even remember when I started this video, but this video is finally done. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's been like a little book diary, I guess. Ooh, we should call it that, a book diary. I kind of like that. Let me know if you want more reading type of vlogs. I don't think I'll do a series as big as this ever again. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next one.